All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm here to break down the four-game NHL slate that we got tonight. Should be a pretty fun one for a four-gamer. I see one pretty chalky spot, that being the Winnipeg Jets, but just looking at the slate as a whole, I think we've got quite a bit of options if you don't want to go with what I expect to be pretty heavy chalk in the Jets top line. Last night, let's see, did not win anything big. In fact, lost most of my money, but that's all right. More than made up for it in the days before. Need to tweet this link out. I tried to schedule the event so people can come in and chat like you, Corsi, and that seems to be working pretty well. Is my sound bad? Let's see. Someone let me know if my sound is bad. My mic's on. All right, let me retweet this. I mean, let's see. Sound is fine. Okay. Sounds fine. All right. I don't know what to tell you, gotcha, Mac. But yeah, there we go. We are definitely live, so there's that. I'm a degen, so I'm here. Aren't we all? Boom. Aren't we all? Yeah, I don't know. Did anybody take anything big down last night? Anybody win that 20K? Because I certainly did not. I saw a couple Awesemo logos up there. Tom and Awesemo, Alex Baker. They crushed it last night, at least in the $20. So I'm sure they did in other tournaments too. They probably just made a few commas here and there. I'd watch you without sound for what it's worth. Thank you, I suppose. I'm not that interesting to look at, I don't think. But I guess I'll take it as a compliment. All right. Let's see. Anything else interesting on the slate? Like it's pretty straightforward. So Nolan tweeted out what he usually does for the article today, because there's really no changes to talk about. I'm gonna pull up his article actually right now, just to or not his article. I guess he doesn't have one, so I can't really pull it up. But he said there was just one top six change, very minor. I mean, there's not a ton to talk about. We had all this information basically last night. I refreshed everything from this morning when I looked, and really nothing's changed. So I'm just looking forward to playing the best plays. I'm probably going to go with about 50 lineups tonight. Seems to be working well for me lately. I had one lineup last night, finished in 563rd. Out of how many? Because that's in an MME tournament. That's pretty darn good. I would take finishing in 563rd in the $8 every night if I had one lineup. Hopefully you played in other lineups though, or in other tournaments. Single entry. I mean, anyone who's watching, if you're playing one entry, I would try to stay away from the $8. Go to the 20 max, or go to even better single entry or the 3 max. I think those are all much better options. The scores to win are lower, of course. The 20K. Oh, the 20K to first. Oh, I see. $40. Yeah, that's the problem too. Those big tournaments, especially with the top prizes, they're so top heavy. They want to market the 20K to first, and then you see once you get out of the top 5 or 10, you just get basically doubling your money for beating thousands of people, and that's really frustrating. So if you're not MMEing those, I would try to stay out of them. Or if you don't care about throwing, like if you're playing a couple $100, you don't care about the extra $20, then sure, throw it in there just in case. You could hit the nuts. It's happened before. So seems like we got a pretty good crew in here. Feel free to give us a like if you do enjoy what we do. It'll really help us out, and then we can continue to do it for free. Promo code Hit the Ice is still going on. You guys probably have heard my spiel. Hopefully many of you have signed up. I know we've gotten quite a few people, so pretty excited about that. But promo code Hit the Ice Gets you a free week-long trial at Osmo.com Premium. You get my projections, Osmo's rankings, the lineup builder that you see on the screen. You get, what else? Oh, Premium Slack chat. Can't forget about that. I love Premium Slack. There's always someone in there talking hockey, or you can go to the NFL chat or the NBA chat or the general chat. We've got customer support chat in there to help out with your issues. And just a lot of very smart people talking DFS. So what can be better than that, right? All right, let's talk about these games. St. Louis Blues versus the Chicago Blackhawks. 2.9 implied total for the Blues, 3 for the Blackhawks. Jake Allen in net for the Blues. Corey Crawford, the presumed goalie for the Blackhawks. Seems like a pretty even matchup when you look at Vegas here. Looking at my numbers, they also have it pretty even. So I'm pretty much with Vegas here. I like both of the top lines. I think the Tays line is going to go up against O'Reilly, Tarasenko, and Schwartz. Chicago hasn't really been hard matching with the Tays line, but I would assume it just logically makes sense that they would go Tays versus the stacked St. Louis top line. So stacked top line and stacked top line. I mean, if they don't, it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world, but that's how I'm playing it right now. Still doesn't really matter. I think both the top lines are very, very much in play. I'm probably going to end up more around the field with both of them. I think they're both going to be 15, 20%, somewhere in that range. Maybe one of them gets up to 25. But I'm actually not all that concerned with ownership outside of Winnipeg 1. I think you can definitely fit Chicago 1 with Winnipeg 1. So maybe they end up being a little bit chalky. They're a home team. They're a slight favorite. Whatever. It's, a few percentage points here. So here or there, I should say. Depth lines in this game. I like the Chicago second one. They held their own against Carolina 1 and Carolina 3. The Carolina 3 line has been insanely good at possession. And, I mean, they got outshot and outchanced, but they did put up a decent amount of chances against both the Aho line and that Walmart line with very, very good numbers. So I like to see that. They're at home here. They're going to be sheltered. And the Bozak-Steen combo has not been great defensively. I don't think Fabry on that line is going to make it any better defensively. And then the Robert Thomas and David Perron have also been pretty bad defensively. So they're going to get good even strength matchups. Chicago 2 is a line that I will definitely be over the field on. I don't think it's going to take much to get over the field on them, though. So I don't think you need to make a huge stand if you're playing 10 lineups. I think putting them in 1 or 2 is perfectly fine. Right now, I'm probably going to have 6 to 7, maybe 8 Chicago 2 lineups out of 50. So 15% about. Bozak's on PP1. O'Reilly's off 1. Tarasenko. O'Reilly is a one-off. Tarasenko too expensive. I don't know. I don't think Tarasenko's too expensive. I think of the line as a whole, right? So you've got Schwartz in there at 4,800 for whatever reason. Tarasenko under 7K. O'Reilly 6,600. I mean, I don't think that's too expensive. I don't think any line's too expensive. I think everyone is priced pretty fairly. I don't really have many issues with DraftKings pricing today. Yeah, I mean, I want to play full even strength line stacks tonight. So taking the stack as a whole, the price of the 3 players instead of just looking at one player and saying, this guy's overpriced. That's just how I look at it. I mean, the Bozak, Fabry, Steen line I think is going to be okay. Good value. They fit with Boston 1. They fit with Colorado 1. They fit with Winnipeg 1. And actually a lot of good stuff after that. Vegas 1 they fit with as well. So I think they're going to be a pretty popular filler. Don't really have a problem with it. But they're not a line I want to force into a bunch of my lineups. Defenseman here, Pietrangelo, I really want. Is he seriously listed on the second unit again? That's kind of frustrating, but I do agree with Osmo. He would be an A value for me at 5,600. This is a very good matchup, I think, both ways. Dunn's fine, but he's 5,100. And the reason he's 5,100 is because he's on the top power play. It is a good situation, but I'd really prefer to get to Pietrangelo. He's probably going to play a bunch of minutes with O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Tarasenko at even strength. Is it better to go DeBrincat, Cahoon, plus Keith or Gustafson, or just play Kampf too? I mean, you could leave off Kampf. He's the one that doesn't play on the power play. But, I mean, I would like to get the full even strength stack in there. If that line gets a full line goal, that's going to be a 4% owned stack on a 4-game slate that, with a lot of other stuff to pay up for that I like. So, I would like to keep Kampf on if I could. Even though I like Gustafson tonight. I like Yoki a ton tonight. So he's on the power play 1 with Seabrook. Yoki is 3,700 A value on Osmos grades. Love that. Keith is meh. I think I would agree with that. And on the second power play, whatever, he's 4K. I mean, he's usable, but definitely wouldn't be in the top 2 guys I'm targeting on the Blackhawks as far as defensemen. So it's Yoki. Gustafson is one of the better values there as well. Seabrook at 5,200 was fine when he was the only defenseman on power play 1, but now that Yoki's there, it's a pretty clear advantage in Yoki's favor there. I'm calling him Yoki. I have no idea how to pronounce Yoki Harju. I don't know. So I just call him Yoki. I hope that nickname was pretty clear. Yeah, Vots, you're supposed to be on vacation, man. Hopefully enjoying some sunshine. I can't remember where you're going, or if you told me at all, but yeah. Good to see you tuning in for this riveting 4-gamer. All right, next game. Capitals, Jets. We have Braden Holtby going up against Connor Hellebuck. The Capitals continue to be my kryptonite. Thought the Wild were going to at least be competitive last night. They really weren't, outside of a couple pushes in the second period. I looked up last night and it was like 21-8 shots for the Capitals. I would not have expected that at all going into that game. And I mean, I put my money where my mouth is, had a ton of Minnesota, ton of that Stahl line, not a ton, but a little bit of the Koivu line as well. And did not go my way. So the Caps are on a road back-to-back. This is another perceived tough spot for the Capitals. But Kuznetsov is 5,300. That's extremely cheap. Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Carlson is firmly in play. Wilson, not a guy I want to play. But I guess if he's the last man in and you got Kuznetsov and Ovechkin, that's the scenario I would use him in. Caps PP has a chance to see a lot of points here. Caps PP always has a chance to get a lot of points here. They're I had a bunch of Dubnyk last night too. They're pretty scary to watch when you have a goalie against them. So maybe I should be more on Steve's side here and stop taking goalies against the Capitals, or at least limit my exposure against the Capitals, because Ovechkin is just the scariest player on the power play. So that would be my target on the Caps is Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Carlson. Really like that trio. On the Jets side, we're going to see some Winnipeg 1 chalk, and you'll see why, whether we do crunches or hand-building lineups later in the show, because they just fit with everything. They're not expensive enough. Bufflin is 5,900. You can fit him with some secondary lines if you go full Winnipeg 1 as well. It's just a little bit too easy to fit them in, and it is a good spot. You'd expect them to go up against Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Wilson. That's not a good defensive line, and Winnipeg 1 has been cooking lately. Blake Wheeler's been insane. Scheifele hasn't been too shabby either, and Ehlers is a nice third option on that line, if you want to call him a third option for 5,400. So I don't have anything bad to say about Winnipeg 1. I really wish we had ownership projections that I really trusted, because I would want to see, like, if they're going to be double the ownership of a Colorado 1 or a Boston 1, who, yeah, they may not be in the greatest spot ever, but I don't think they should be twice the ownership of some of these other top lines, because there are a lot of them. And I think Winnipeg 1 will be the most popular. followed by probably Vegas 1. And there's going to be some really good lines that we get at relatively low ownership, which I'm pretty excited for because I'm MME. I see Homer Cleese is hoarding all the plays again. He's always hoarding all the plays. No, he's not. He gives the best information there is out there. He'll be back tomorrow, actually, on the big slates. So we'll have the big guns for the big slates. You won't have to hear me ramble for an hour. You'll get your Homer Cleese fix and seem to do better when he's on here anyways. At least be more informed. He's always he's got more real hockey knowledge than me, that's for sure. All right. Hellebuck hasn't had a strong start, so I'd expect goals here. I mean, yeah, Winnipeg should be okay at even strength here. It's the power play. You wouldn't expect Washington to light it up with 35 shots. And when they do get shots, it could be on the power play. So I don't really love Hellebuck for 8,200. He, you're going to see a lot of Ovechkin slappers if they do get on the power play, and that's a very high quality shot. Can you guys hear that? I think I got an email right there or something. You guys could probably hear that. All right. Third line for Winnipeg, I think, is in play with line A in there, of course. 6,100. Like him as a one-off if you're stacking Winnipeg 1 and can fit him in for the full power play stack. I think that's a really smart idea. Does playing goalies against the Caps ever work? Seems like it doesn't. Let's play Tom Wilson and hope for like 15 blocks. Nah. Porn spam email. Oh, Boom. Maybe you emailed me, Boom. That could have been it. All right. Winnipeg 3, I do like with line A in there. I actually like the full line as a whole. They're just not super appealing from a full stack perspective because, yeah, they're cheap, but it's only line A that gets the power play time, and he's going to have ownership for sure. So it's not like a super sneaky GPP's target. I just think they can win the even strength matchup if they get on the ice against Eller and the fourth line for the Capitals, which I think they'll see a fair amount of. All right. What else in this game? I kind of am off the second Winnipeg line. Connor is okay on the top power play, but that's really about it. I don't really have much interest in Little and Perreault. They're just kind of whatever plays for me. Line A is a bum? Yeah, I would not agree with that. But yeah, I guess you're entitled to your own opinion. Line A is pretty awesome. Orlov coming off the 2-goal performance last night, paired with Carlson. Steve so smartly pointed out that that's going to be an upgrade for him. I think it was his first couple goals of the year. And yeah, so it was a good call by Steve. I wish I would have listened to him more. That's why we need him on the show. Carlson, 6,300, your preferred guy, but I don't mind going down to Orlov again. Maybe more confidence. Maybe he's going to attempt a couple more shots after last night's breakout performance. On the Winnipeg side, it's pretty clearly Dustin Byfuglien here. Morrissey and Trouba are okay as secondary pieces, especially if you're going to the second line for the Jets, but it's mostly going to be Dustin Byfuglien for me. And then Joe Morrow, I guess, deserves a mention. He's minimum salary, and he's okay for 2,500. So if you're jamming in those expensive lines and you need a punt defenseman, this is the puntiest you can get at $2,500 on DraftKings. Goalies here, I think Holtby's going to see a lot of shots, so I don't mind him if you're not, or I don't mind him if you're going with like a Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Carlson. He's cheap, makes it a little bit more affordable, and he is an okay one-off. He could have a big performance here, just because he's going to see quite a few shots. Sherratt has been playing well in real life. Is he in play, or just not enough for DK scoring? I don't know. I wouldn't play Sherratt if I could avoid it, and I think you can. You can play Morrow or get up to Myers, or there's other options I think that I like much more than Sherratt. I think I'm saying his name right, actually. All right, next game. Bruins, Avalanche. We have Yaroslav Halak against Semyon Varlamov. For the Avs, this is the one where I think we're going to see low-ish ownership on Boston 1 and Colorado 1. These are two of the best lines in the NHL. I don't think it's debatable. They're probably two top 5, pretty safe. You could make an argument that these are the two best lines in the NHL based on how they've started the season. We have 3 implied total for the Bruins, 2.9 for the Avs, so another close game. I don't think we're going to see McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog in a hard match situation against Colorado 1 or against Boston 1. I think that's pretty unlikely here. They're probably going to see some time against the top 3 lines for the Bruins. So with that being the case, McKinnon line, really like them. My numbers really like them. Kind of a scary amount against Boston because I don't love targeting them as a team. But again, I have to just remember that Colorado 1 is matchup proof. So if I'm getting a lot of them, they just account for so much of the share of the 2.9 expected goals that this is the kind of line you want to play in a suboptimal spot, which this is. There's other spots where it's super clear. Even strength matchup's very good. Power play matchup's good. All that stuff. Even strength matchup isn't great, but Boston's penalty kill has not been great. And same thing for Boston 1 here. Even strength matchup isn't perfect. You'd actually prefer that Boston 1 gets Colorado 1, but again, I don't think that's going to be the case. The power play matchup, at least the power play opportunity is going to be there for Boston based on what Colorado's done this season. They lead the league in time shorthanded per game. So it's over 4. If they get 4 power play chances, even like 3, there's just so much opportunity to do damage. At 5-on-4 here for this Boston top line, they're going to get a ton of minutes at even strength. And it's not like you're all that worried about the second and third and fourth lines for Colorado, even though they have been an okay defensive team. So I'm really sticking to the top 2 lines here. Carl Soderberg is actually a guy I don't mind. If you're one-offing, he is an A value in Osmo's rankings. And looks like we have some similar data then on Soderberg because he's coming up a little bit for me. The problem is his line mates aren't all that appealing. Calvert and Sheldon, is it Dries? Probably Dries. Second line for the Avs, Colin Wilson is 3,500 and plays on the top power play. At least he has been playing on the top power play. So do with that what you will. He's not someone that I'm going to be jamming in. I really want to go to Colorado 1 if I'm playing Colorado at all tonight. Tyson Barrie back on the top power play for the Avs. So I love that for 4,800. Glad that they got Girard off of there. Not that Girard's bad or anything, but Tyson Barrie's much better for DFS. And he's priced up to 4,800, so he becomes more than usable tonight, especially if you are going to Colorado 1. I like Eric Johnson. I just think he's got a decent floor for 4,200. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, Boom. Boston best 2A line in the NHL. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement for sure. So Johnson would be the other guy I would target besides Tyson Barrie. Krug for Boston, the clear power play 1 guy, A points grade, A value in Osimo's grades. Nothing bad to be said about him there. And then I would like this second line for Boston, Krejci, DeBrusk, Nordstrom. Nordstrom kind of ruins it for me. DeBrusk is on the top power play, so I don't hate a full Boston 1 power play stack with DeBrusk at only 4,700. Or something that I was doing is just playing around with earlier is trying to replace one of Pasternak or Brad Marchand in your Boston 1 stack and trying to fit another expensive line. It does kind of work. If you downgrade to DeBrusk, hope Boston 1 does the damage on the power play. I think that's a pretty decent option there with DeBrusk on that top power play. That's really all I have in this game. Grzelcyk at 3K, I suppose, is a punt option on the second unit. But kind of the same deal on both sides. If I'm going to this game at all, which I don't think is going to be super popular, then I'm going to the top lines, or at least I really want to jam in the top lines. Because you're going to get unique lineup constructions. You cannot really fit Winnipeg 1 with either of these two lines, at least not the full lines. You definitely can't do that. You'd have to get a little bit creative and get a different line of construction if you're looking to do something like that. So I like that. Two great lines in probably average to below average spots, but it is a short slate. It is hockey, and I like getting overweight on both of these top two. All right, last game of the night. Actually, goalies here. I don't have anything interesting to say about goalie. They're both in play for me. They're both priced down. It's going to be a close game. They both make for awesome correlation plays in tournaments. Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. We've got most likely John Gibson going up against Marc-Andre Fleury. My model absolutely hates the Ducks here and loves the Vegas Golden Knights. I think that's going to be pretty popular. I don't think that I'm saying anything outlandish, but I'm all over Vegas 1. I know they're going to be chalky. They fit with Winnipeg 1, which I hate, but it's just a really tough spot for me to avoid. Getzlaf and Raquel have been pretty poor at even strength defensively. With Aberg, I think the numbers are still poor. They don't have a huge sample, but let me check on this. Yeah, without Pontus Aberg, they are allowing 16.4 high danger chances. Raquel and Getzlaf are in over 100 minutes. And then, let's see if I have the numbers with Aberg. They've been better with Aberg, actually. But still, 9 high danger chances against, bunch of scoring chances. They're giving up a decent amount of shots as well. So they're not a line that I should be avoiding. And then I don't even know if we're going to see a hard match with Vegas 1. We probably won't. They usually don't do that. Vegas 1 is just too cheap. The Ducks are allowing, I believe it's the most high danger chances against on the road per 60. They're a train wreck. They look bad. They do not pass the eye test. They got Andre Kasha back. That helps to have a viable third line. I don't like the Kessler line at all. I wish they would get Silverberg off that line because I would like to use him. But I think if I'm going to the Ducks heavily here, it would be on that third line just to save some money. Henrique, Ritchie, and Kasha. This was a high event line together last season, and they're super, super cheap, so you can fit them with pretty much any of the top lines very comfortably. Vegas 2 will be a line that I have. I just hate playing Eakin at 3,600. He doesn't do much. The assist upside is there, especially because they're just going to roll lines here. They're going to see a little bit of everyone. But it's tough for me to play Eakin. So what I might do with the optimizers, since I'm using Fantasy Cruncher tonight, is play Vegas 2, like in the lineups that I get Vegas 2, just X out Eakin and maybe do like a 2v2 swap with a defenseman or something. Get a better center in there. Do something to get Eakin out of there because I think he makes that line super affordable. Pacioretty at 4,200 is wild. I mean, whatever. This line is way too cheap as well. I think there's just way too much value on Vegas's side for me to ignore here, so I'm going to have a ton of Vegas lineups. Want the first one, but we'll mix in the second one. I know the third line also has some very good numbers, and I want to actually have something to reference here, so let's see. Do I have this pulled up? Third line for Vegas. Oh, I don't have them. How do I not have them pulled up? Let's see. Oh, okay. So it was just a couple games. The Heika Carpenter Nosek line has actually had some really solid numbers. And then I think the Ryan Reeves line, all those guys that have been salary also have very good numbers. Vegas has been getting super unlucky. This seems like a great regression spot, positive regression spot for them. Negative regression for the Ducks. Yeah, I'm all over Vegas here. Looks like Boomer loves 2v2 swaps, does he? Good for him. Patches is due. He just shouldn't be 4,200. So, any optimizer that uses stats from last year, the year before, is going to have Pacioretty pop up. He's going to be pretty popular for good reason, I think. Defenseman Colin Miller is on the top power play, so I love that for 4,100. Again, great value. Theodore is still playable at 4,600 on that second unit. No issue with him. And then there are some guys you can punt with. McNabb and Engelin, I think, are both fine punt options. I'd probably prefer McNabb, though, over Engelin, even though Osmo has them both as A values. Just wait till Stastny gets back. Yeah. I mean, Stastny's not someone that I love playing in DFS either, but, you know, like last year when he was centering Ehlers and Line, yeah, you're going to fire him up because he's can run into a few points there, and it happened a bunch of times. So Eakin is just a much worse version of that. Just doesn't really do much. Probably a better real-life player than DFS player. I mean, I would hope so. But we're talking about DFS here. Defenseman for the Ducks, I think Hampus Lindholm is actually my favorite guy because I'm not playing any Anaheim lines super heavily. So Lindholm could see a bunch of block shots here. And Fowler's the other guy I think is at least usable if you are going to a Ducks top line stack or something like that with Raquel, Getzlaff, and Aberg. Vegas was a fluke last year. I mean, they were really good last year. Every number that you look at supported it. They got to the Cup Finals. What? How are they bad? They were not bad. I mean, you could say it was a fluke, but the numbers were real. Like, they were good. They were legitimately good. So, Vegas overrated hype. Why does everybody hate Vegas? I don't understand. Like, I didn't even think Vegas made me a lot of money last year. I probably lost money on them in DFS. They won't make the playoffs this year. I mean, okay. That doesn't mean that they weren't really awesome last year, because they were. It's the same team. I think they're going to be fine. It's the exact same team, basically. No James Neal, but they got Pacioretty. And once Stastny gets back, that's going to boost. Fleury was fluky last year. I would agree with that. But yeah, Matt, what you said. They had modest possession numbers in the first half, but they actually got good later on. They were awesome down the stretch of the season. To say that they were a fluke, at first I thought they were going to be. Like, I just thought I was going to target against them every single game, their expansion team, whatever. But they were, Schmidt too. That's a big loss for them as well. Forgot about him. He comes back on Sunday, I think. So just give it time. We're not even a fourth of the way through the season. Vegas is going to be fine. All you Vegas haters in here. What's there to hate about Vegas? Besides that they don't allow DFS in Nevada. All right. What should we do on the lineup builder? What do you guys want to see? Wow, I didn't know Vegas was such a hot topic. I mean, boom, I know you hate Vegas, but you were wrong for 3 series last year and an entire regular season. Didn't they smoke your Kings in the playoffs too? But Gibson's going to shut them out tonight. Regression starts next game. Yeah, okay. I didn't talk about Gibson. That's an oversight by me. I guess I just forgot to do it because of all this Vegas hate. Gibson is going to see a ton of shots. He could absolutely do what he did last game against the Predators. He was standing on his head. He's insanely good. His team hangs him out to dry all the time. If they can put together a solid defensive performance here, Gibson could have a huge game. I just, like the secret's out on Gibson though, so he's not going to be unowned. People believe in goalie leverage much more than I do in DFS. I don't see, like, if this was the Canes against the Ducks, who just love to put shots on goal, then it would be a little bit different of a story. But like Vegas doesn't attempt that many shots where you're going to see him put up 50 here. I mean, could it happen? Yeah, but I don't know. Like, Gibson has upside for sure, and you should have shares of him if you're making multiple lineups. But, man, I really, really side with Vegas here. Fowler's face injury. I haven't seen anything about that on Twitter. Let's see. Possible I could have just missed it. Just had Cam Fowler pass me in the hallway, and as you would imagine, he won't be doing any GQ covers in the future. Yeah, so he got a slapper right to the face, or not a slapper, it was a shot right to, oh, whoa. All right. Cam Fowler is on IR. I just got that 10 minutes ago. Cam Fowler is on IR. Do not play him. I got to get him out of my projections. I didn't know he was at risk of going on to the IR. I mean, I guess when you get your face destroyed. But yeah, so that's just coming in right now. Thanks for asking that, Matt. That definitely helps. I mean, probably Montour goes to the top power play. I mean, just pure speculation. Maybe it's Lindholm, but Lindholm is still my preferred guy. Maybe Montour gets a bump in minutes and he's 3,600. That's really all I have. But the Fowler loss definitely doesn't help the Ducks' cause. So, yeah, Montour, Lindholm. I agree. Gibson will see more rubber tonight. Okay. Good old Boom. That's a really old reference, by the way. Isn't she from, like, 1980, Boom? How old are you, by the way? Man. Make some millennial references for me. All right. What should we do on this stream? I'll show you why Vegas 1 and Winnipeg 1 is going to be popular. You got two very good lines at home in good spots, and you can fit them together. It's not even that difficult either. So you could go like this. You could probably go Montour. Mentioned he probably gets a bump. Bang, bang. Oh, we can't fit a goalie in now. Almost Jake Allen. So we probably just have to go to someone like Gunnarsson. There you go. Now you got 8K. Look at that. That's why Winnipeg 1 and Vegas 1 is going to be popular. Favorite one-off punt for the slate? Defenseman? Or just punt in general? Yeah, me and Boom go back to last year. 90s. Oh, you're a 90s birthday? Okay, me too. We must be the same age. Favorite one-off punt for the slate? Either or. All right. So let's just go through it game by game, kind of. I guess I don't know. I'm MMEing, so I'm MMEing, if you didn't understand that. So I'll give you some options you can punt with. We mentioned down here, Wilson is on the top power play. I think he's viable as a punt. Looking at some of these other guys, I think these guys you can both punt with, but I'd more want them in the context of if I had line A in the lineup. Defenseman here, Morrow is fine as a punt. I mean, if you consider these two punts, these are both great options. This is probably a little bit more than out of punt range. Let's say I saw Gretzky play. Oh. All right, so you're a little older than me. Gunnarsson is certainly a punt option. Pretty brutal cash slate. Is it? I wouldn't know. Maybe I should dabble in cash, see if I can be any good at it. But I don't know. I've never really gotten into it. Maybe it's the top prizes. Who knows? I've always gravitated towards GPPs. Those 100K to first in parentheses on DraftKings have always gotten my attention, like they do with a lot of people. I realize it's pretty difficult to win, though. Doubling your money isn't enough. Yeah. I mean, the losing nights are obviously much worse in GPPs. But I've stopped kind of going all in on guys in all sports. I think that you can get in trouble with that, especially if you have a somewhat limited bankroll. And now I've become a much better player and I've got some bankroll to play with. So I think being smart and spreading out your exposure when MMEing is definitely something you should do. A lot of sharks in cash? Probably. Which punt line? Vegas 2 or Anaheim 3 or Chicago 2? I like Chicago 2. I think you're going to get the lowest ownership on that compared to those other two. So I'd rank those Chicago 2, Vegas 2, then Anaheim 3. But those are 3 punt lines or like secondary lines I like if you're going to Colorado 1 or if you're trying to get in Ovechkin or a Washington power play stack or something crazy like that. Friends don't let friends play Cody Eakin. Yeah, here comes the double dong Cody Eakin game. Seems like every time you bash someone, they got to go off, right? Allen is viable in cash tonight. I don't want to speak too much about cash just because I don't play it, so I think that'd be a little bit disingenuous. How risky do you want to be with your goalie, right? I mean, if you have the perfect skaters or what you think are the best skaters, then, Allen, he's a slight underdog. About to pick him. He's probably going to see 30-plus shots. Decent chance at a win. I think he would be at least okay. He wouldn't be a guy I would just throw out of cash entirely. Pacioretty, Schwartz, Montour, Yoki are probably top cash plays. I think Yoki would have to be in there for sure. Pacioretty, Schwartz would definitely agree. Montour, assuming he gets top 4 time. Thornton scored 2. Yeah. Anytime Joe Thornton scores a couple goals or has a 3-point game, just know that I'm licking my wounds and I did not make the money. Yeah, Koivu. Man. Koivu's, yeah. He just doesn't have it anymore. What else do we got on the slate? You guys want to make some lineups? We got about 10 more minutes. I don't know. What does everyone want to see? Like, I've done all this. So if someone wants to see something like a power play stack or something weird, then let's do it. Otherwise, cashing 0 out of 20 lineups is always fun. Yeah, I used to have nights like that, for sure. Maybe even as early as, or even as recent as last season, where I thought you had to go all in with limited lineups, but you don't have to. Just make sure you're getting a unique lineup construction or optimal lineup construction. Vegas stack lineup for Bobby. Let's see how cheap this Vegas power play stack is. I mean, the only problem with this is that you're using up 5 forward spots. But there you go. You want the Vegas Josh stack? Look at this. Now you've got, okay, you could go Patrice Bergeron. Yeah, you want some Bergeron or Yoki? Get those guys in. Osmo's not a huge fan of it. Or, like a lineup that I could see myself making is, I like to do this, I don't know what you guys call it, but I call it like a hybrid stack. It's a 5-2-1. And it's just, you take 2 forwards from the top line, you take 2 forwards from the second line, you take a defenseman, and you just try to catch a handful of goals on the onslaught. It's not necessarily a Josh stack because you don't get up to 6 players or 6 skaters, but it's something I like to do, especially if you're dealing with like one lineup and you really feel good about a team. So I would go something like this. Now you got the 2-man forward stack usually, and then you got your defenseman. So take your pick. You don't even have to go Fleury here. You could go Varlamov. Maybe he has a big game. Who knows? But look at that. That's something I actually run at higher stakes when I play it. Because, you know, people run 4-3-1s. People don't run 5-2-1s. So if all the other games kind of stay quiet, or there's no line that, like, there's not a ton of full line goals on the slate, then if all of a sudden Vegas goes off for 4 or 5, you're in a really good spot. You have a great chance of getting goals from goal scorers like these guys, Pacioretty, Tuck, you know. So just something a little bit different that I like doing. Run it back with Gibby. Yeah, don't ever do that. Line. What about Line? Line only scores on PPs. I mean, look who he's playing. I mean, it's not like he has high-powered line mates here. You guys really only think Line scores on PPs? Line's a stud. Look at this. So this, I would love to do this, but let's do Ehlers. So now you got full Winnipeg 1. Now you've got Bufflin. Let's try that out. Camp Cahoon. No. Let's see if we can do Camp DeBrincat. Nah, I probably can't do that. Actually, yeah, we can. We're just going to need to punt. There we go. Now we got 7,400 left over. Look at that. 5-man. You got 4 of the PP1 guys. You've got a sniper in line A. Unique lineup construction. You got everything. Have you ever looked into the possibility of high volume shooters that correlate with opposing goalies? I know some people do that with cash. Or are you just saying, like, would an Ovechkin correlate well to his opposing goalie? I don't know. I mean, it's not something I've looked into. I just uncheck, or I check, don't use skaters against my goalies, or whatever it is on Fantasy Cruncher. Corsi said there's something about scouting the refs. Let's see. Corsi. Yeah. Are you in here, Corsi? What'd you see on scouting the refs? If you are in here. I guess I can just pull it up. Let's see. Tonight's referees and linemen. So if you guys don't know what this is, scoutingtherefs.com. Power plays per game. All right. So neither of those guys are crazy. Power plays per game. All right, so looks like this guy, when he refs, there are quite a few penalties. And you see all this. Okay. So gets probably a little boost to 2 teams with very good power plays already. This isn't something, scouting the refs, this isn't something that I base my decisions off of. But like if there's a close call or whatever, I think it's something you should look at. You always want more information, but don't like blow up your whole lineup if you're playing one lineup just because you see a guy calls the most penalties in another game. Stick to your process. I mean, you can incorporate this somehow. I don't know exactly how you would, but don't get crazy with this stuff. Can you rank the goalies who face the most shots tonight? I mean, like Grabner or someone who puts up low danger shots correlating with saves. I mean, it probably would correlate, but I just don't know if you have enough guys on one team. I don't know how you would find that out. That's interesting to think about for sure. Goalies who see the most shots tonight? Okay. I guess we can rank them in tiers probably. Well, actually, I'm going to pull up my projections and bring them over here and tell you exactly how many. I'm not going to show you my projections, but I'll tell you how many saves I project for each goalie. Let's see. But I mean, you could figure it out just by reverse engineering it based on my projections on the site. All right, so I've got Gibson, Allen, those two to see the most. Holtby, Crawford, tied. Hellebuck, Halak after that. The four that I just mentioned right there, Holtby, Crawford, Hellebuck, Halak, all between 28.1 saves and 28.5 saves. And then Varlamov after that at 26.4. And then Marc-Andre Fleury at 21.5. Whew. So there you go. There you go. Would not play Fleury in cash. I mean, you need a shutout. Or you would... No. I don't think Fleury's going to be the highest scoring goalie tonight unless he gets a shutout. And I'm not in the business of predicting shutouts. So, Jake, when are you doing a DFS boot camp to show us your banking ways? Take our money. I mean, you can join Osmo.com Premium and have my projections. Try out Fantasy Cruncher for a week. Promo code Hit the Ice. You can definitely do that. Get Osmo's rankings as well. You get a lot of good stuff with promo code Hit the Ice. So try it out for a week. You could come in Slack and spam our chat. Boom, if you please. It's a pretty good deal. Free 99. But no DFS boot camp for me. All I want to show you the banking ways is just a like on the videos. That's probably enough for today. I want to get out because I know NBA has a big slate. I think there's 11 games. We've got a ton of good content. Chris Spags' Hedge and Go article, The Deeper Dive, should be out or is out already. Adam, Laffy after me. Those guys are incredibly sharp. If you play NBA, you're going to want to listen to them. And then Chris Spags with Fast Eddie Fear tonight in about an hour after Adam and Laffy are done. Live before lock. You guys are definitely going to want to check out those shows. If you play NBA DFS, if you're getting into it, they explain stuff for dummies like me who don't know anything about NBA DFS. Very user-friendly show. I would definitely recommend checking that out. What else do we have? NFL content coming out tomorrow. We'll have the Showdown article by EMAC. We just got it all here. Give us a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get updates when myself, Steve, and the rest of the Osmo.com crew go live. You're going to want to do that if you like more than just this show, or if you just want to see this show. Yeah, we've got it all. So thanks for supporting us, guys. Thanks for coming in and making this much easier to do. I always like when we have an active chat. Steve and I will be back tomorrow. Good luck, and see you guys at the top of the leaderboard tonight.